Greetings, people of the future. On this day of your year, we decided to open up the vault and dig out another time capsule from the raw and puckered annals of our Cinema Insomnia history. We now present to you, for educational purposes only, a classic episode from our library, reconstructed with the best elements known to TV science. Enjoy.
Wilkins, and I've been a monster movie fan all of my life. In fact, I've been a horror movie host on television for well over a decade. I guess I've frightened a lot of people along the way, including the gentleman you just saw at the top of the show. But I'd like to share some things with you this evening. Some of it will be frightening, others entertaining, some informative. We've got film clips for you tonight from some of the greatest horror films of all time, and from some of the losers too. We've got coming attractions, a coming attraction film festival that I think you'll really like, and lots more. But at the top of the show, what was the most frightening film of all time? Well, over the years, monster movie fans have selected this movie as the scariest film of them all.
You are under my power. Look into the hypnotic eye. Time now to enter Mr. Lobo's domain. Look out! Open your mind to the possibility that they're not bad movies, just misunderstood. You're not dreaming. You're watching Cinema Insomnia.
Welcome, creeps and other creatures of the night. Welcome to Cinema Insomnia. My name's John Stanley, and I'm your replacement unit horror host tonight, taking over for Mr. Lobo, your normal host. Normal? He's on a leave of absence and may not be back for a while. Meanwhile, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm the fellow who hosted creature features in the San Francisco Bay Area for 6 years at KTVU. Maybe those of you who can read might remember my 6th edition creature feature movie guide series. And hey, wait till you hear about this brand new book just coming out onto the market. It's really upsetting the intellectual readers of America, I assure you. It's called I Was a TV Horror Host. It's the autobiography of Channel 2's creature features that ran for 14 total years in the Bay Area. The first host was my predecessor, Bob Wilkins. You remember Bob's motto, watch horror films, keep America strong. Now, about tonight's movie, I do want to apologize from my bottom of my heart. You see, I wrote, produced, and directed this film with a partner named Ken Davis back in the 1970s in the San Francisco Bay Area. In fact, we shot most of the film at the old Fox Theater and Telegraph Avenue over in Oakland. And the setting of this film is a horror convention that brings together various elements of the fandom world. That includes a mystery writer, a Sherlock Holmes detective, a comic book guru, a fashion designer, and a man from Israel. He's a man who's hunting for a war criminal of World War II. Some bizarre elements here that all come together to solve this series of ghastly murders. So, my advice is to sit back, relax, and just let this picture wash over you. It's really an oddity in the world of horror. Nightmare in Blood.
Coming to this theater next week.
You thrill to the bloodlust of Malachi and the Crimson Demon. You pale when the guillotines of France were red with the blood of his enemies in the Tsar of Doom. Now, see Malachi, Hollywood's top box office horror star, in his latest Fright classic, The Crypt Ran Red. Co-starring Wanda Evans as Cynthia, the temptress who lived too quickly and not long enough. Trapped by her own desires, she never saw the army of the undead which marched forth at Malachi's bidding. With Maria Nagel as Cassandra, the seductress Malachi could not resist, though her lips meant death. Never has the screen showcased such terror, and never has Malachi crossed the threshold from death to life with such foreboding power, such deadly menace. Malachi rises from the grave again to chill and thrill you. Don't miss The Crypt Ran Red. Rated PG.
Not now, not now. Okay, now. Well, here it is, our Palace of Horror. What do you think, Cindy?
I mean, the original Frankenstein film must have played here.
That's possible. Original Frankenstein, Universal, 1931, starring Boris Karloff.
Reminds me of the locale of your first horror novel.
Well, there's plenty of atmosphere. This is like a set from one of those Christopher Lee British films.
Yeah, there are ghosts all over the place.
How do you know that?
Elementary. Sherlock knows everything.
Listen. What is that? No, come on, I'm serious. What is that?
The ghost of the old usher.
No, there is somebody here.
This is Flannery, the custodian.
Yeah, since 28 when they first opened the place. What are you doing around here? I got cleaning to do. Expect a bunch of nuts rented the place for a crazy convention.
That's us. We're the convention committee.
Oh, you're the ones putting on the horror con.
Yeah, we're the nuts.
You want to hold a screwball convention, go right ahead. Just as long as I get no complaints about my coffee and Danish. It's not like the old days. That's when they made real scary movies. Lon Chaney and the Phantom of the Opera. John Barrymore. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
John?
To what do I owe this little pleasure?
John, Ixnay on the Erst name Fay. That's like calling the Easter Bunny Peter.
Hey, for your information, the Easter Bunny's first name, Peter. And he doesn't mind one little bit. Hey, he and his lovely wife came over to the house last week. I was interviewing him for the Chronicle.
Look, between entertaining holiday mascots, did you find some time to take care of my domain for me?
Oh, yeah, I watered the plant like you said. Collected a lot of your email. Took out the messages. Also the garbage. Hey, when are you coming back?
I was tied up in a trunk for a while, as you know. But I'm back in the state now, and I should be home later tonight.
Tonight? Well, hey, Mr. Lobo, what's the hurry? Take it easy, slow down. You don't have to rush on my account. I kind of have made myself comfortable around here, if you know what I mean.
John, level with me. You're not hosting movies over there, are you?
Hey, I gotta go. I've got some imaginary business to take care of, okay?
John? John?
Well, now we have to face the most horrible moment of all, messages from our sponsors.
Like you, I love to shred. But even a hardcore skateboarder like myself slams sometimes. Have you been injured in a skateboard or skateboard-related accident while grinding, thrashing, or catching wicked air, neck, or back injuries? Road rash, hippers, split kneecaps, lost shoes? I can help. I'm on your side. I'm Rad Abrams, skateboard attorney.
Dude, Rad Abrams got me $78 and he got me a beer.
That's right. I'll even get you beer. And remember, there's no fee until we win. Let Rad Abrams hook you up.
Don't delay. Call Rad Abrams and Associates today. Look for our ad in Pressure Magazine.
Later days, dudes.
Across this great nation, almost everyone has been affected in one way or another by this terrible tomato onslaught. Mrs. Williams, I understand your husband is missing.
Yes,
Do you think he's dead?
Well,
Will you miss him?
Well,
Will you marry again? What if he's laying in a ditch somewhere, with both his legs broken, calling your name? You will have to find another man, you know. You're no spring chicken.
Lives are shattered. The nation is in chaos. Death and destruction sweeps the country. Foursquare Productions presents perhaps the funniest film ever made.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. You've never seen a film like it. This is the incredible story of the world's ultimate disaster. Vicious man-eating tomatoes grow to monstrous proportions. Faced with this unprecedented menace, the president calls upon Mason Dixon, special agent. Aided by his trusty sidekick, Dixon begins to unravel the terrifying mystery of the deadly tomatoes. Dixon is getting close, too close for someone, or something. Who could it be? The girl reporter? The ad executive? The press secretary? Or does it go higher? Join Mason Dixon in a race against time as he battles to save the world from the threat of nature's perfect eating machine, the Killer Tomato.
Ain't no time to make a fuss. We gotta get those tomatoes before they get us.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. You've never seen anything like it.
Welcome back to Cinema Insomnia. I'm your replacement horror host unit, John Stanley, and you've been looking at a motion picture that I wrote, produced, and directed back in the 1970s with my partner, Ken Davis, entitled Nightmare in Blood. In fact, it just so happens that you can still find a copy of this in the various DVD stores around the country from Image Entertainment, and it also has some bonus features on it that give you some background on the making of the film. For example, the guillotine sequence that opens the film, a film within a film, was actually shot at the Presidio of San Francisco, about 50 yards from the toll plaza of the Golden Gate Bridge, if you can believe that, with the great swashbuckling star Kerwin Matthews. The horror convention itself takes place at the Fox Theater on Telegraph Avenue in downtown Oakland. In fact, we were in there for 3 whole weeks, and I believe we were among the very last people to ever really do anything inside that theater. Golf course murder took place at the Lincoln Golf Course, just below the Palace of the Legion of Honor, where you have great views of the Golden Gate and the Marin Headlands. And also, the scenes shot on the Fright Flicks set was actually shot on Bob Wilkins' creature feature set as it existed in the 1970s. In fact, the host actually sat in the chair that Bob Wilkins used. Okay, I think it's time for us to jump back into Nightmare in Blood. And while you're watching the picture, I'm going to pop over and water Mr. Lobo's plant. So if you'll excuse me.
It's terrific.
Just imagine, in about 2 hours, Malachi's coffin on that stage.
You really ready for him, Professor? Pretty weird how he lives his role off screen.
Oh, the fans eat that up. I mean, don't forget a box office gross of $10 million. All Class A vampire flicks.
Yeah, Cindy's right, Scotty. Malachi, one of the screen greats. It's like having Lugosi, Karloff, Christopher Lee, Vincent Price. And he's right up there with the very best of them.
How come you always leave out Maria Ospinskaya?
Because I'm a chauvinist.
Pickets are hard at work, Billy. They're doing some of the promotion for us. Malachi would love to hear you think that way, Billy boy.
Those must be the 2 PR men, Harris and... Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris, how are you? How are you? And Mr...
Just call me BB.
BB.
You must be Professor Seaver.
Yes, I am.
Nice to meet you, Professor. And,
nice to meet you.
This little darling?
This is one of my associates on the committee, Cindy O'Flaherty, BB.
Cindy O'Flaherty.
How do you do?
Mr. Harris. Publicity purposes.
Well, we're still getting things together. We should be ready in a day or so.
Now then, before Malachi arrives, there are a few strict rules he insists upon. In the tradition of the screen greats, he feels he must live the role of the vampire at all times. He'll have it no other way.
Well, all of us understand the conditions of the contract and appreciate his attempt at realism.
Well, that's the way of it, Professor. Now, you take this cross here around Cindy's neck. It'll have to come off.
I'm Winslow Seabrook.
Ah, Professor. I've read your novels and only regret that you have yet to indulge in the vampire genre.
Well, that's something I've regretted myself. Perhaps after this meeting...
As an actor playing a role, I assure you I have my own very distinct ideas of the vampire's place in contemporary society.
I'd like to hear those ideas.
Certainly. Later, perhaps, during the convention.
That Harris is a creepy little guy.
That's PR men for you.
Hatchet men working for Malachi out of Hollywood.
I've got to get back to the spa. We close at 10. Come on over, Cindy, when you get finished, and we'll go for a midnight swim.
By midnight, I'm going to need that swim.
Come on, Mike, come on. Let's keep back. Come on.
Malachi, I'm George Wilson. You know, Fright Flicks host.
I've been informed of your program. And of your tongue-in-cheek commentary directed at the genre of horror films.
Well, it seems to be what the fans like.
Indeed.
That's a bogey for you, George.
Let us set the stage, Professor.
Okay, fans, I guess I'm the villain now. Everybody will have to leave. There'll be time for more autographs later, okay? Everybody out now, please. I think we've complied with everything that your PR man, Mr. Harris, and Mr. Oop. Be very careful coming up these stairs. They're really dangerous. This morning, one of our crew fell in there. We've slanted all the publicity so that the buffs will think that you're actually in the coffin asleep on the stage during the daylight hours of the convention.
I intend to maintain a believability in the supernatural as best I can. Such a believability should be the prime motivation behind all horror films. An actor cannot afford to disappoint his fans. And now, Professor, if you will excuse me, I have several public relations angles to discuss with Mr. Harris. Harris?
Cindy?
Hi. Where's Malachi?
He's, gone. Well, he must have left already.
Oh, maybe just taking a little nap. No? I guess everyone's gone.
Well, let's go.
Well, where to?
Gary Arlington's comic book store. I told Scotty we'd meet him there. We're going to go over the comic book displays for the lobby.
Do you notice how dismal everything looks when there's no one here?
Hello! Lonely, all right. You almost feel it generating its own personality. Its own emptiness.
Come on, let's get out of here.
We can lock up on the way out.
So this is home for the next week, hmm?
This is it. And does it suit you?
Not bad.
Oh, well, for such short notice.
It's another Surgeon Square.
You know, practice is keeping you boys very proficient. The Gestapo would call this subterranean chamber a safe house.
One episode out of many.
It's more years than I care to count.
Well, I stopped counting long ago.
Say, I hope you're enjoying Cinema Insomnia. My name's John Stanley. I'm your replacement unit horror host for the evening, and we have been watching a motion picture that I wrote, produced, and directed, Nightmare in Blood, currently available from Image Entertainment and all of your local DVD shops. And say, I hope Mr. Lobo doesn't decide to come back anytime in the very near future. I'm really starting to enjoy myself. I really feel like, for the first time, I'm back in the saddle.
My cereal! It's haunted with ghosts! Whatever you do, don't open that box!
Chill out, Chuck. They're marshmallow ghosts.
It's true! Now there are ghosts. New white marshmallow roast in Count Chocula, the ghostly part of this complete breakfast.
Now what? Who turned out the lights?
I did, so you could see these new glow ghosts. They glow in the dark and they're free from monster cereals.
Now free glow ghosts with proofs of purchase from Count Chocula, Frankenberry, or Blueberry. Who said that?
In this time of world trepidation, humanity needs a hero. In fact, we need a superhero. And only one man can bring Commander Courage to the big screen.
Hey, this might be a place you can get a t-shirt.
Comic Book, the movie.
There's a lot of stuff blow up in it. I love movies with stuff blowing up.
Mark Hamill is Donald Swan, a man on a mission.
It went well?
I thought so. I mean, they were so nice. They really were.
Don't worry about it, okay? He's out of our hair. That's the important thing.
This guy's really got to get a life.
With Kevin Smith.
But it's tough to have a dude fighting Nazis in 2002.
Donna D'Errico, Stan Lee, Bruce Campbell, Hugh Hefner.
You're like my favorite superhero. You're like Pajama Man. Right?
The world needs a hero, and only one man would dare make this movie.
You're fired.
You're fired. When I sat through Pearl Harbor, I just loved that movie, but I thought, can you imagine if Ben Affleck was able to fly up, break the planes in half, and dump the Japanese into the ocean?
Comic Book, the movie on DVD for comic book lovers everywhere.
Well, I hope you're enjoying this horror film, Nightmare in Blood, set during a convention in San Francisco, a horror convention. And I hope you don't think I'm a conventional horror host. My name's John Stanley, and I'm here to take the place of Lobo. Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm simply here for a short time to temporarily replace him. Now, I would like to introduce you to a woman who's busting out with a convention all of her own. It's called the Carnival of Stars. It's a mixture of comic books and belly dancing, and it's going to take place in Hayward, November 10th and 11th. I'd like you to meet her now. Her name is Pepper Alexandria. Pepper? Now, this is the part of the show I really like.
This is almost a work of art.
It is a work of art, Cindy, reposing in four-color limbo since the year of darkness, 1954, when censorship caused these works to wither and die.
Never in your eyes.
Nor in the eyes of those who appreciate the greatest medium of all time, the comic book.
Ah,
Vintage Wally Wood.
1951.
Right. As you can see, the sands of time have taken away nothing. They've given only freshness.
It gives me a chill, you know. It's a satisfying chill.
Looks like we could use a few new candidates on the board. Let's see. Maybe we could fill it with some of those nice folks we met in the lobby.
Removed from the body and most of the blood drained. Ironically, the theater was presenting a double bill of horror films at the time.
Look, we're counting on you to give us a hand decorating the theater over the weekend. I stand by eagerly. I feel it is an honor to partake in the first of horror cons.
Well, I hope it's not the last. You've really got this place together, Gary.
A shrine for comics of all times past and of all times to come. What you see about you has come to symbolize my life's work. I've got to get to the TV studio. Fright Flicks seems to be where it's at these days.
Can you handle him?
Who, Unwar?
Mm-hmm.
He's a born loser.
He does have a way of persuading people.
The persuasion of the truth is stronger. Men will turn to ashes. Only comics will prevail.
Well, I'll see you at the theater tomorrow, okay?
Night, guys.
Good night.
Cindy, I'll walk you to your car.
Oh, thanks.
Nice, thanks.
Been meaning to reread Sherlock Holmes and the Sign of the Four.
Of mysteries I know little. Of comics I know all. The truth of the universe can be found here. The mythos of mankind. One need only look among the old, new, horrifying, funny. Peace, war, love, hate, underground, above ground, death. All is here, within these walls.
We'll be ready to go in just a minute, Dr. Unworth.
This is my pet.
Say, how'd you get Malachi to come down for this horror con of yours? He didn't want to come to the show.
Well, we were lucky. We contacted his manager in L.A. And he was free, fit into his schedule. Yeah. Plus, we're showing 4 of his films, too.
And now, stay tuned for the incomparable George Wilson, coming up next on this channel with another Fright Flicks.
We're about to go. Good evening, fans. Welcome to Fright Flicks, the show for Saturday night losers without a date, the show for people with nothing better to do. I've been reading a lot of letters from you viewers, and you're all asking me the same thing. Why do you even bother, they ask me, to show 2 rotten films every week? Well, tonight we sort of got an answer for that. Instead of 2 rotten films, we're only going to show 1 rotten film, okay? And instead of our first feature, we offer 2 distinguished guests, each with a different point of view about horror films. On my left, a man who actually enjoys the things, the noted author, Professor Winslow Seabrook. And on my extreme right, Dr. Carl Unworth, a psychologist who has devoted the last 10 years of his career to a crusade against horror films because he feels they contribute to the deterioration of our youth. In fact, this very program is featured as a contributing cause in Dr. Unworth's latest book on the subject, Rape of the Young Mind. This book treats horror films in some depth. And indeed, Doctor, you have an entire chapter on the vampire film actor Malachi. How come?
The malignancy known as Malachi is indeed the core of my book, Mr. Wilson. His exploitation, grade Z vampire films have sickened and poisoned the minds of young Americans for too long now. Why, it's an insult to the intelligence of any God-fearing Christian who knows werewolves and vampires do not exist. Here you see a man who in one breath claims to be the epitome of the cinema vampire, who has the audacity to call his work film art, and in the next breath poses for this kind of trash.
What an excellent time for me to mention the first annual HorrorCon, which will be held right here in San Francisco next week with Professor Seabrook in charge.
I'm uniting the mothers of San Francisco so they won't permit their children to attend this disgusting event.
Once again, we are faced with
now
a
being
self-appointed censor who wants to tell us what we should or should not have. I've often wondered, Doctor, what's your personal reaction to a really good pornographic film?
I've examined many such films.
I'm sure you have, Doctor.
Oddly enough, it's time for our first commercial break.
Pepper,
Hi, John.
how you been?
Good.
I haven't seen you for a while. Are you keeping abreast of all the activities in the Bay Area?
Oh, I am.
It looks like you are. Say, can you give us a little background on your show?
Sure.
Carnival of Stars?
Yeah, John, it's called Carnival of Stars, and it's a combination belly dancing and comic book convention.
That's a pretty weird mixture. Can you explain how that came about?
Well, I'm a belly dancer for many years. You know, I've been on Creature Features.
Well, you were on the show 6 times.
Yes,
That's right.
And
Not counting the reruns. How about that time you danced backwards? Remember that?
Yeah.
That was terrific. We don't even count that one.
Dance of the Death Sword.
Yeah, it was great. No, this is This all ties into a project you've had, a new comic book?
Belly Dance comic.
Belly Dance comic. I think there just happens to be one right... Oh, look!
Oh, yeah.
It was here right between us. Isn't that incredible? Take a look at this. And you're one of 9 artists who have contributed to this?
Spain Rodriguez is in this, and Mark Bodie, and Hal Robin.
Tell us a little more about the show. Are you going to have some performers?
Yes, Mr. Lobo is going to be the MC for the costume contest.
Are you sure about that?
Well...
You might want to double check that. Well, we'll talk about Lobo later, if you don't mind. Go ahead.
So we're going to have a costume contest, and we encourage people to come and enter because first prize is $100, which is pretty good. And we're going to have 200 belly dancers from all over the world. 200? Yeah.
How could an audience possibly absorb 200 belly dancers in one show? How do you do that?
I'm not sure I do it all the time.
Hiya, kids. It's me, your friend Grandpa. I gotta tell you, I am starting a new club, and I want you to join. It's called the Junior Vampires of America. I mean, you'll hear scary monster stories. Now, to call, you gotta ask your parents' permission and call this phone number, 1-900-909-4300. You'll hear all about my monster friends, learn how to get a free vampire patch, and a list of special vampire tricks and secrets. So call 1-900-909-4300. Learn how to scare your friends, even yourself. Join Grandpa's Junior Vampires of America Club, and I will make you a junior vampire.
Hey kids, call 1-900-909-4300. That's 1-900-909-4300 to hear Grandpa's scary stories and join the Junior Vampires Club. Just $2 the first minute, 45 cents each additional. Ask Mom or Dad first.
You know, it's not a bad idea.
What?
Making a girl. Actually making a girl.
This is Wyatt and Gary.
I'd give her warm digis mammary glands.
Something's about to change their world. Something out of this world.
She's alive! Alive!
What would you little maniacs like to do first?
It's all in the name of science. Weird science.
If you want to be a party animal, you have to learn to live in the jungle.
Not us. Not here. No way.
She is turning their lives.
Trust me for once, will you?
What is going on?
Gary, I don't know. I don't know.
Their minds. And their house. Upside down.
It's seriously affecting your sex life.
It's completely unnatural.
Do you realize it's snowing in my room?
Totally unbelievable.
What's going on?
And definitely weird.
Hi, dudes.
They went from zeros to heroes in one fantastic weekend.
I'm so good.
Universal Pictures presents a John Hughes film, Weird Science.
It's purely sexual.
Thanks for the swim.
Sure you don't want me to stick around a little while longer?
Cindy will be here in a little while. Everything's cool.
Don't keep her up too late now. We've got a lot of work to do tomorrow. Good night, babe.
And so don't forget, next week at this same time, the famed vampire actor Malachi in his first feature film, Fangs Over London. Unfortunately, Malachi himself won't be here, even though he's in town, but I can understand that. No one likes to review the mistakes of his youth. Professor Seabrook, you were telling us something about the effect of horror films.
Yes, well, these films are a superb outlet for our frustrations. Instead of persuading us to commit crimes, as my colleague purports, horror films may help to prevent that very thing.
How about that, fans? We show one horror film and keep thousands of potential criminals off the streets because they're all sitting at home watching our show. Oh, it's a special treat, fans. In person, Malachi.
I wasn't informed of this. If you think I'm going to
Sit down. You know nothing of horror, nor of the enjoyment my films bring to the young throughout the world. Like so many others, you want to suppress the creative imagination. You look for the illness in others when that same illness permeates your very soul. And now...
And now it's time for a message.
The only message will be directed at you, with your shoddy attempts to make a mockery of the entire horror genre. You call it tongue-in-cheek, when it is a slap in the face of every decent horror film actor. Tainted our images beyond repair. To my legions of fans, I must apologize. But I felt it was absolutely necessary to appear here tonight.
Cindy, is that you?
Such a tender young thing.
Scotty, you still here? Hey, Barb, you in the pool? Hey, Barbara, I decided to take you up on that midnight...
Positive it was him.
He was standing in the doorway by the health gym just as we were leaving.
It was dark, but it was him, all right. Young Fettinger. You don't forget the face of a man who's followed you for the past 25 years. City after city, always dogging us. We should have done something about the Avenger long ago.
In the meantime, we still have 4 empty containers. I suggest you make another selection on the board.
Why isn't the Avenger on the board? Just a moment. I believe it's mine. Thank you. Well, now, it looks like Mr. Marsden is approaching the 17th hole. We'd better get at the business at hand.
Right, on with the business of life.
For crying out loud.
It's nice to be working in the daytime for a change, Billy boy.
That old nightlife can really do a fellow in.
Mr. Marsden doesn't seem to be having a very good day.
He's 3 strokes off already.
You ready?
230 yards.
Okay, honey.
Okay.
Good luck.
See what we can do with it.
Oh, honey, you went in the rough again.
5th time today.
Oh, that's too big.
Boy, I'll never live this one down.
Oh, well. Come on, let's go find it.
Oh, boy. Well.
Oh, don't worry. Are you sure it went down this way?
Not far from here.
Probably rolled down here. Oh, there it is.
Professor Seabrook?
Yes.
Lieutenant Driscoll, homicide.
Yes, Lieutenant. They called and said...
Barbara makes the 3rd dissected corpse we found in San Francisco in the last 48 hours. I understand she and Scotty were planning to be married.
Yes. She was a very talented girl, Lieutenant.
Any enemies? Someone was an enemy last night.
And your name?
Well, if you pick up anything, let us know.
1970 Francisco Boulevard. And the phone number? 337-47.
Tell me something, Professor.
Okay. Can you think of anything that...
What's it feel like when the horror in these posters starts to happen to you?
Okay, if you think of anything, please call me at this number.
Ray?
I'm okay.
Why don't you take the rest of the day off, huh?
Work is best from here right now. I'll see you later.
It's intermission time, folks, and that means it's time for a tasty snack. How about a stroll over to the refreshment counter for a delicious bite to eat? You don't have to worry about missing any part of the show because our announcer will let you know 3 minutes before the show starts again. See you over at the refreshment counter.
Big crowd on hand tonight for the first annual Monster Movie Game Quiz Show. First time ever on television, maybe the last time. Okay, it's all a takeoff on John Stanley's fine book, The Monster Movie Game Quiz. John is with us this evening. He will be my expert throughout the quiz tonight. John, how many questions have you picked for our panel?
Well, Bob, we've got 20 of the toughest questions we could find during the past week.
20 toughies?
These are, I guarantee it, these are really good ones.
Okay, you know the questions, you know the answers, you've got all your research material here on the desk in case something goes wrong with this show.
Yesterday, Dracula was the most fearsome being the screen has ever seen. Today, tonight, you could be Dracula's next victim.
Something new, yet as old as time.
Come on, Johnny.
A date with the devil.
Are you ready? He's ready. He's waiting to freak you out. Right out of this world.
Died September the 18th, 1872. 100 years ago to the day.
illicit must swear before the name of the devil to keep it secret.
Who knows about vampires, for God's sake?
My grandfather died fighting a vampire. The most terrible, the most dangerous vampire of all time.
The year is 1972. A leap year in horror. A vintage year for vampires. The time for the masters of horror to meet again in the 20th century.
Come to me, Count Dracula!
There's too many dreams got very tough to sad, and there's too little time for the sad.
The nightmare's over.
I have returned to destroy you.
Lee's Dracula made fans forget all those other evil vampires, but today Lee no longer wants to wear the cape and fangs. Back to the horror films, our fans out there will no doubt be disappointed that you're giving up that area, but you're not giving it up altogether. If a
what I have
great
said,
script came along.
Of course. What I have said is that I will never play that particular part again, because I have said publicly on many occasions, and I've said it with complete sincerity, and I'm not saying it to upset people or to justify anything or to defend anything. I've said that in my opinion over the years the presentation of that particular character, and this could apply to any character, has lost its power and its impact. If you get a great heroic romantic figure, which is a world famous piece of writing, and one of the most famous books in the world. I'm told that after the Bible, it had the greatest sale of any book that's ever existed, which is quite possible. If you have that sort of character, you should make certain that the story is written around the character and not vice versa. And I got progressively disillusioned with the fact that the stories seem to get further and further away from the original intentions of the author, which I would think is obvious to anybody who sees the pictures. And as an actor, I have no intention of continuing to play a part in which I have, let's say, not entirely lost interest, but in which I don't entirely believe now because of the vehicle and because of the surroundings. What I would like to clear up is, of course, like any other actor, not just me, but any other actor, if somebody comes with a really good story and a really good script and a really good part and a really good director, but really good, not just adequate, you know, as an exploitation picture, and it happens to be in the horror area, and you know where the word horror comes from, of course, where applied to films. It's a censor certificate pre-war. X, I beg your pardon, it's X now. It was A for adult, U for universal, H for horror. At least it wasn't Britain. I don't know whether it was here.
Yes, it's the same
the
thing.
green certificate. If it happens by coincidence to be a horror movie, I'd do it. Of course I'd do it. All I'm saying is that I am not playing another Dracula again. That is not my intention.
From the depths of evil comes a diabolic killer of beautiful women. The vampire's coffin. See a vampire's body stolen from its tomb. A psycho killer removes the stake so the vampire can again prey on beautiful women. It's in the vampire's coffin. The vampire's coffin. Presented in Hypnoscope. How much shock can you take?
Come to me.
Well, because this is my next to last show, I wanted to surround myself tonight with some of the upstanding citizens who've worked with me during the last 5 years, and I thought I'd start with some shakers and movers of the community, Pepper Sorrells and Ann Lippy, who have just finished writing a dissertation on the geophysical effects of belly dancing on modern musical art forms. Now, I want to say, it's just utterly amazing how many letters, cards, and phone calls that continue to pour in from you fans and professionals. You're all sorry to hear that Creature Features is leaving the air after next week's show. Now, many of you feel the show will be a loss to the science fiction Bay Area community. A couple of you fans have been in tears over the telephone with me. There seems to be a great deal of sentiment and nostalgia connected with this show. Now, our last program next week is going to be very, very special. Bob Wilkins, the man who created Creature Features back in 1971, will be my guest, and I'll be showing you highlights of my 5 years as the host. Oh, our movie tonight? Oh, thanks for asking, girls. I never thought you were going to ask me. Well, it's new to Creature Features. It's really a very juvenile adventure with mild fantasy overtones that are somewhat ruined by a trick ending. So be prepared for a kind of kiddie approach with the action and the humor. And I don't know who else might drop in before the evening is over. On this show, anything's possible. There might be a lot of characters coming by to pay their last disrespects. Oh, girls, would you please concentrate on this side? There seems to be a wave of hot air coming from somewhere near at hand. Well, you saw the clip, Pepper, and I'd like to pay you a compliment. That was taken 23 years ago, and you haven't changed a bit, kid. And say, horror's looking at you. Pepper, why don't you do a little dance for us before we go back to the movie? What do you think?
Okay, I'd
Oh,
love to do it.
thank you.
Can I talk to you for a minute, Professor?
Sure, Scotty.
I saw her, Professor. Barbara.
The whole thing is so senseless.
That's just the point, Professor. It wasn't senseless. This morning, someone carved up Harry Marsden.
George Wilson's cameraman. Oh, my God.
Blood was drained. Vital organs removed. Identical to Barbara's.
It's beginning to sound diabolical.
Here's something else. Out of the 3 murders, 2 of the victims were in this very lobby when Malachi arrived last night.
Look, I've been robbed. That man Harris, the PR man, he gave me this. Look at it. No damn good. It's worthless. Now, you people are responsible around here, and I'm holding you personally responsible. I knew he was going to cheat me. I could see it in his eyes. Now, I am holding you personally responsible.
Okay, relax.
Here. Good enough. In the old days, they made good pictures. Oh, the cabinet of Dr. Caligari was real famous. Oh, the hunchback, a real monster. Hey, Cheney, he knew.
Look at this, Professor.
It's pretty old.
Looks like a dime.
No, it's not a dime. It's British.
1824.
Yeah, it's a 6pence. Must be George IV.
I wonder where Harris got this. You know, there's something weird about those 2.
Granted, they don't fit the mold of the PR men I've known.
Some new films have just arrived this morning. Guess I'd better screen a few. Weed out the best ones for the fans.
Okay.
Come out from behind that curtain. He's appearing before our very eyes. I tell you, this place is cursed by the gods.
I want to see your blood dripping
Look,
down.
will you knock it off? Oh, what's that?
Don't bother with the last reel, Jimmy. I can't take any more of this dog. Kill it.
Know what dumb is? Dumb, you are stupid. You don't think before you make a move. You just move and that's it. I don't understand how you could do such a dumb thing. But likely you don't understand nothing. Really dumb. You just don't think sometimes. You do things without thinking. That's your problem. You ought to be a nanny. You know, you're so good. Give her one of those coins to that blabbering old fool. You another slip like that, you'll be resting in Potter's Field again. It was an honest mistake. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to promote my own death now? Promoting our own eternity, you fool. Another 2-year fling for us, huh? Well, it better be quick. I'm starting to get the shakes myself. Come on, let's get out of here. Malachi's coffin will be safe enough. Back to Surgeon Square we go. Selling our goods. That's it, Billy boy. Promotion. Always promotion.
Surgeon Square. Yes. A British term. Used to describe private medical colleges clustered around universities. Usually specializing in anatomical research. Why?
Gary, is your store still open?
Normally, the store remains open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., closed on holidays. However, due to the singular urgency of the preparation of the Horicon, I've been unable to...
I need in, like right now.
a desire I'm most pleased to accommodate.
Let's go.
Scotty, what the hell is going on?
You'll never believe it, Professor. Let's go, Gary.
How is the research progressing?
It's beginning to fall into place, Gary. Listen to this. Number 10 Surgeon Square, the home of Dr. Robert Knox, anatomist, in Edinburgh at the old college on the South Bridge.
Alack, factual murder is not my forte. Crime does not pay. The famed comic book was my most deep involvement.
Factual crime is my forte. I should have put all this together sooner. William Burke. Bill Burke. Phoebe. Hare. Harris. The original body snatchers.
Neither living nor dead.
Yet for the vampire, blood gives neither life nor death.
But it does sustain life.
And a career.
You know, there is something to be said for the art of the horror film.
You can talk about art, but few horror film actors have ever attained it.
'Tis the age-old problem, a lack of good parts. Lugosi, for example, would take anything just to keep working. Even the best. Vincent Price, Cheney Jr., Karloff, Christopher Lee, Lionel Atwell have always worked in potboilers. I have always demanded literate scripts. In fact, Professor, I was so impressed with your novel, Triple Trauma, that I've given some thought to you as my writer.
Talk to my agent.
Good. We might consider the ecological problems of the contemporary vampire.
Consider how air pollution and chemical poisons have taken their effects on the human bloodstream.
Excellent! And in turn, think of the effect this taint would have on the blood-drinking vampire.
Something else we might consider. Who is the true monster, vampire or man?
Well, it is the vampire who has come to symbolize evil. It is the human race that should have that honor.
I've never thought of that before. But that is the way a modern vampire could think.
And one more thing to think about. A new kind of love interest.
Love interest. Good. Love interest does tend to slow things down.
I mean, I'm tired of maidens lying in gothic beds zombie-like while Christopher Lee stares them to death.
I agree. Consider this situation. Let us say you and this girl are in love. Professor, you are a vampire. You lust for her blood, but you love her too much. Still, you need blood. You are miles from anyone else. Dawn is approaching. How do you resolve this complication?
Well, as Dracula would have done, I'd transform myself into a bat and...
Rubbish, Professor. Don't tell me you would use such superstitious rot. A 175-pound man transforming himself into a 14-ounce bat. The bat is a grotesquely ugly creature of the night. Rat-like body, claws, leathery arms. Horrible.
I was merely using the tradition set down by Hollywood. Superstition, folklore.
Don't believe everything you see in the movies, Professor.
The vampire could eat his own flesh, drink his own blood.
Disgusting. Absolutely. I'm afraid the morbidity of such a plot development would upset certain audiences. I do try to maintain a PG rating.
He almost sounded too real.
He does have a way. No wonder his fans call him convincing.
Hey, listen to this. In Britain, during the 1820s, the law required that all bodies be given a Christian burial.
Sanctimonious, the British.
With growing classes of students, the schools were forced to purchase their cadavers illegally. In the case of Dr. Knox, he turned to Burke and Hare. Hey, dig this. In just 10 months, they murdered 16 men and women, selling each corpse to Knox for 8 or 10 pounds.
And their own demise?
Knox exonerated of all blame, his career destroyed, Burke hung by the neck, his body skinned, his hide tanned, his skeleton put on the exhibit in the university's museum. Hare, a witness for the prosecution, released, vanished, and never heard of again.
Oh, boy. In the old days, they really knew how to make pictures. D.W. Griffith, Barrymore, Lon Chaney. They were the greats. What is this? Pictures on the wall. First, it looks like an electric shock. Bubbles all over. That's an X-ray machine. What do they want with that? Electric. Atomic energy. That's what I thought it was. Oh! What have we got? Looks like liver. Oh, no. That's pieces of paper. Oh. There's somebody living down here.
It's pretty crazy.
I once believed that Captain Marvel truly existed. Proceed with your belief.
Gary, I think those PR men are Burke and Hare, kept alive all these years without a trace of aging.
And what ancient alchemy could have achieved such a miracle?
Malachi.
And what does that make Malachi?
Maybe he's exactly what he says he is.
A vampire.
Hello? John. Oh, hi. Mr. Lobo, John? What's that music?
What music?
John, tell me you don't have belly dancers on my show.
But I can't hear a word you're saying because of the music?
That is it, John. I'm getting down there as soon as possible.
Hey, I got a great idea. Why don't you call me back a little later?
You understand me? I'm coming down.
Oh, look, you don't have to come over here. You ought to learn how to relax. Take it easy, like me. Everything here is under complete control.
Okay, John, that's it, all right? I'm coming down there right now. You understand me? Right now.
He held our entire world hostage with his music. Cranktail Records presents the one, the only, Ambassador Phantom on one long-playing album, Candles, Crankhorn, and You.
Oh yeah, come on over here.
On Planet Crankhor, he sold more records than Perry Como, Boxcar Willie, Jerry Vale, Red Sovine, Slim Whitman, and Zamfir combined.
Unforgettable.
Finally, through this exclusive TV offer, Lost Youth can once again be yours on LP, 8-track tape, or Cosmic Spool for only 9 payments of $9.99 plus $99 shipping and handling.
Caustic vapors came blowing in.
And if you order now, we'll send you this free bonus disc. Ambassador Phantom of Crankhorn narrates Peter and the Wolf.
Peter looked up and shouted, "Where is that miserable scum? I'll make mincemeat out of him."
Hurry, operators are standing by. Order Candles, Crankhor, and You today, or...
We're gonna kill some children.
In the new millennium, vampires no longer fear the sun. Now they're going to learn. It's time to fear the Son of God! circus is Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter.
John? Lobo, what are you doing here? I mean, what happened to my black void?
Well, it got kind of drafty, so we put up a few walls, brought in a couple of knickknacks. Hey, if I'm going to guest host your show, I got to be comfortable.
John, I don't want you to host my show. I just wanted you to watch my stuff. Where's Miss Mittens?
Yeah. Oh, no problem. Over there by the rocking chair. Hey, pizza?
John!
What?
John, what? I asked you to watch my stuff, not take over my show. I mean, you got pizza, and I smell Mediterranean food, and you've been smoking the Sherlock Holmes pipe in here too, haven't you?
Of course.
Well, what's that over there?
That is my motion picture, Nightmare in Blood, and this is my show. Take a look.
Well, you want to show me around?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Just let me get a couple of flashlights just in case. Not afraid of the dark, are you, George?
Ooh.
Follow me.
Shouldn't we wait for the house electrician?
We're a low-budget operation, too, George. I think it's just a trip circuit breaker.
Say, while we're here, can I get a shot at Malachi's coffin? Is that one of your guys?
Hey, what are you doing there? Get away from that coffin!
Stay back. Let me finish my work, damn you.
Damn it, I said get away from that coffin! Hold that. Sure. What's the matter with you? You crazy?
No.
Hey, somebody stop that crazy son of a... Hang on to him, Scotty. Don't let him up.
What the hell's going on? Who is this guy?
That's what I'd like to know.
He thinks we've stumbled inadvertently upon one of life's fleeting skirmishes.
Oh, there he is.
He was trying to pry open Malachi's coffin.
With this?
You fools. Now you're all in danger.
We're in danger. From what?
A real vampire?
I suppose we should call the police.
Police? For a guy who believes in vampires? Okay, on your feet.
I guess you're right. County hospital would be the best place.
The only place.
A head shrinker would be most apropos.
Scotty, that man in the ambulance, he was the one at the health spa last night.
What are you talking about?
God, I'll never forget that face.
That's the link. He's on the same track.
Scotty, that was Barbara's murderer.
That man, he wasn't Barbara's murderer.
No, but I saw him. He's the killer.
He's not a killer, Cindy. You've got to trust me. It's a fantastic story, Cindy. But I need time to prove it.
I just wish that I could understand some of this. But all right. I won't go to Driscoll.
Thanks, Cindy. Thanks. Can you cover for me tonight?
Yeah, you're covered.
Good girl.
I count on you both to keep an eye on that coffin when I'm resting.
Sorry, Malachi. We were out taking pictures, snapping new candidates for the board.
Fools! Have you no skill in your craft? The Avenger was here in the theater all the time.
Give us the word, Malachi. We'll even skip the formalities.
They're trying to kill me. The Avenger's put himself in great jeopardy. He's right where we want him. Yes, we will skip the formalities.
You also believe Malachi is a living vampire.
And I'm convinced that Beebe and Harris are Burke and Hare.
Thank God. I can't believe it. You are the first person. The first person. I have been working alone for so long. I was beginning to think I would never find anyone who would believe me, who would even listen.
Oh, I'm listening. Call me Scotty.
Scotty. My name is Tobias Ben Halik. I'm Jewish. I'm a member of the Haganah, the Israeli Avengers. I was part of the original Jewish group assigned to track down fleeing Nazi war criminals. I have been concentrating my efforts for a very long time now on the man known to the world as Malachi. In the beginning, I thought I was pursuing a Nazi, but as the evidence amassed, I realized I was on the trail of something far worse, if that's possible. A vampire. A vampire who had been preying on thousands of human beings for at least the past several hundred years.
Evidence? What evidence?
I have evidence. Quite convincing evidence. 25 years of evidence.
I've got to get you out of here.
How?
Start with him.
Out cold, like a heron from the Channel Sea. And the Avenger, free as a bird. It's back to Surgeon Square.
Aye, to face the wrath of the Devil's Own. Did you finish the job?
It's gone.
The Avenger got out ahead of us. Damn. All right. We'll get the Avenger another time. In the meantime, I believe, Harris, that it's your turn. I'll fix the board. That won't be necessary. The board's ready.
When an adult watches a movie monster strangling a movie maiden, he never for a moment believes that he is seeing anything that really happened. But when a child sees the same scene, oh God, when a child sees the same scene, he lacks the experience to tell the difference between reality and the make-believe of the silver screen. Oh, Dr. Unworth, who gave you your degree?
Okay, Tobias.
Look closely here, and you will see a startling resemblance to Malachi. This would place Malachi in Great Britain at the time of Burke and Hare. Now, look at these other posters. Look at the photos. In each one, the face. And notice all of the different names. Maine, Amalek, Elaine Key. All of the names are anagrams or variations of Malachi.
An incredible coincidence.
Hello? Seabrook. This is a hell of an hour to apologize. Oh, all right, in the morning. What? Can't it wait? Oh, very well.
Due to Malachi's aristocratic background and his egotistical pride as an actor, he felt it was beneath him to seek out his own victims. He preferred accomplices. His early experiments brought Burke back to life. But after a short while, the aging process abruptly accelerated. And so Malachi began new experimentations for a better formula.
Which he carried out simultaneous with his stage career?
Yes, this is stage career during the Victorian era in England. With his own traveling troops throughout the depressed countries of Europe in the 1920s, and with an abrupt switch to the field of medicine as Hitler rose to power. Come, I want to show you something. Malachi and his henchmen were welcomed by Hitler, who was already surrounded by monsters of different kinds. This is footage I myself took in July 1945 at the town of Kaufbeuren, south of Munich. It was labeled a home for the feeble-minded and subnormal. It was another hideous link in Hitler's final solution. This was Malachi's office at Kaufbeuren. He was in complete charge. We estimate he murdered at least 2,000 men, women, and children in his continual quest for the formula. When the home was finally liberated, several hundred corpses were found with their hypothalamus and pineal glands removed. 2 of those children were my own. One woman was my wife. I'm convinced he lengthened the effect of the formula to 2 years.
And after the war?
Malachi, as we know him today, first appeared in Hollywood in 1947 to resume his acting career. By the early 1960s, a predictable pattern was forming. Every 2 years, a series of 6 murders would occur.
I take it the 6 corpses were necessary to complete the formula for Burke and Hare.
Never any variation. I tried to destroy Malachi a number of times, but always I failed. This afternoon I tried again and you stopped me. I now appeal to you. Will you help me to destroy this tape?
You've got my help. Professor? Cindy? For Barbara's sake, if nothing else.
I mean, it's insane. All of the pieces seem to fall into place.
The comic ethos decrees that I aid in the destruction of this force of evil. I was just
trying to remember. How do you kill a vampire?
But Mr. Lobo, I thought you were going to quit the show.
I don't know, John. I'm confused. I went to Indiana to try and find myself, and I even took on a few odd jobs.
Taking on those odd jobs, the ratings went through the ceiling. See that big giant hole right over there to the left? Hey, listen, I also want you to see these wonderful Nielsen numbers.
Wow, these numbers are huge. We never hit numbers like this.
They're just the gross figures. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more of Cinema Insomnia. We're going to those dreaded recorded messages and then back to Nightmare in Blood.
This is your show now, isn't it?
You're damn right.
The unthinkable has happened. The impossible is now true. I've been brought to life in a horrifyingly real iced lolly from Walls. Get your fangs into the strangest lolly you've ever tasted before it's too late. Walls Dracula. It's really horrible.
Mr. Lobo, I think it's that part of the show where you're scheduled to interview me about my book.
All right.
So, you want to get started?
Okay, John. Tell me about your book.
Well, I'm sure glad you asked. I never thought you were going to ask. It's, first of all, a brilliant piece of writing.
Really?
Yes, indeed.
Tell me all about it, John.
Well, I think I will.
Okay.
Actually, all seriousness aside, I would like to tell you that this is an autobiographical account of the Creature Feature show and how Bob Wilkins really started it in Sacramento and then took it to the San Francisco market. And I really feel that the key to the show's success was they put Bob on at 9 o'clock at night. That was counter-programming at that time. Reached an audience that had not seen a lot of the classic Universal films of the 30s and 40s. Frankenstein and Dracula. And Bob sustained the show for 8 years solid. I came along, I could only sustain it for 6. Obviously I wasn't quite as good as Bob, but I was hanging in there. The ratings were indeed going through the roof. In fact, they had to fix the roof of the TV station twice a month.
Just so you could tell that joke one more time.
Anyway, this book is now available. You can go to my website at stanleybooks.net and find out more about it. It also contains my interviews with people like Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner. Lucille Ball figures very prominently in the book. I bet you would be curious about her. Without Lucy, Star Trek would have been canceled and would have never become a reality. and the whole story can be found in
They
the
had all
book.
these dilithium crystals coming down a conveyor belt, and she had to quickly shove them in her mouth.
Well, it was something like
Okay.
that.
All right.
Very good. You're
Super.
very close,
Mhm.
Eric. You're finally cluing into the right channel here.
Fantastic.
Just like the fans
John.
clued into the right
Now,
channel.
I noticed on the front of your book you have a quote from Ray Bradbury.
Oh yes, everybody should read this book. Everybody. So,
Well, how much did you pay Ray Bradbury to say that?
Seabrook! You in there? Seabrook! Garbage.
Don't be frightened, Dr. Onworth. This is, after all, a most amusing place for us to meet.
Where is Professor Seabrook?
Despite what you say in your book, Doctor, mimicry is a natural part of my talent.
I warn you, Malachi, I'm not gifted with a sense of humor.
I've been all too aware of that fact for years, Doctor.
Why have you brought me here?
To see your expression. When you realize your life's work has been all foolishness and ashes. Violence and the macabre existed long before films came into being.
I don't have to stand here and listen to this. I'm going
You
to...
will do nothing. You will merely listen. What horror novel did Attila the Hun read before he destroyed half the world? From which motion picture did Burke and the Hare conceive the idea to murder for bodies and sell them to surgeons' colleges? All of these stupidities I could overlook, Doctor. But for one fact you so readily decry. The existence of the supernatural. For you see, Dr. Olmos, we in the darkness do exist. We do exist. No, Harris. He's mine.
How much longer?
Patience, please. We've become a formidable trio this past century. Bond is formed between us that is unique. I wouldn't want your impatience to destroy it.
Now what the hell's wrong?
Something's closing in.
Come on, man, get on with it.
I can sense it. Feel it. Strong, forceful power of good.
No sign of them backstage.
I saw no sign of them in the auditorium.
God's sake, hurry up.
If no one has any objections, I would like the honor.
It wouldn't pay me to touch that thing.
The pleasure's all yours, Tobias.
I thought vampires could only exist at night.
Sunlight should bring about an immediate demise.
Precisely. But there is no sunlight. This theater is too well cut off from the outside. No windows for the light to pour through.
Of course, it's like perpetual night.
This place is starting to get to me.
They're in here somewhere.
We all have a job to do. Our friend the Avenger is close at hand. He's brought some friends with him. I think it's time we laid him to rest once and for all.
I think our chances are better if we split up.
Are you kidding? If you think I'm going anywhere in this
I
theater...
meant that we should split into teams.
I go forth armed.
You two attend to the others. Ben Alik is mine.
I'll look for Malachi alone.
Scotty, you and Gary take the basement. There's a maze of corridors and rooms down there. Cindy and I will cover the backstage area.
I will check the front part of the building.
On with the business of life.
In 25 years, you four are the first to believe me. Some members of the Haganah, the police of the world. There is very great danger. I just want you to know, I'm very grateful to you. To all of you.
We better get moving. Good luck.
all this stuff?
This is a counterweight system made by Armstrong Power. 1927 or 28. I'm sorry, useless information.
Could you please try and think of something useful?
Just stay close.
Gotcha. This place really gives me the creeps.
Yeah. Look out for the,
chair. Hey, wait.
What?
Nothing. It's okay. Shh. I know. Shh.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Sounded like some breathing.
Where?
I think it came from that curtain back there.
Let's take a look.
Oh, terrific. I think so.
Pull the curtain back, Cindy.
Oh, I can't.
Go ahead. It's all right. Wonder where that friend of his, Harris, is.
Yes. Oh my God, he's still alive.
It's impossible. I shot him 3 times. You all right?
Yeah, I just gotta catch my breath for a second.
Malachi's formula. It's made Beebe and Harris immortal. They can't be killed. Not with this, anyway.
Now, Ray Bradbury said something very poignant in regards to people's love for horror hosts and fantasy and things like that.
Yes, he has a term for it. It's called sense of wonder. We're all born with a sleeping child within us, and yours is awake, I assure you, Mr. Lobo. And as we discover all of the joys of life, as we discover good food, the opposite sex, good TV shows, movies.
Never heard of them.
Good music, classical books, all of those wonderful things about life. Part of that sleeping child is awakened, and ultimately it becomes our sense of wonder, and that's what carries us through the rest of our lives.
cream filling. Now that's the stuff. Hostess.
It's all right, you know.
There's nothing earth-shattering.
He was an ordinary guy.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Looking for an extraordinary love.
I'm Peter Lev.
Rachel.
I brought this girl up to my place the other night.
It started with a kiss.
Really hot.
A very special kiss.
You wanted her very badly.
Yeah.
A kiss that could drive you mad.
I hate interrupted love affairs, don't you?
Yep.
It's affecting his work.
There you are. It's a horrible, horrible job. And you have to do it.
It's ruining his appetite.
My next appointment with you is Tuesday afternoon.
I'd like to make it sooner.
It's spoiling his sleep.
Sooner.
And don't think people haven't noticed.
Am I getting through to you? Over!
He is so eccentric.
My.
For Peter Lowe,
Oh, sooner.
that's just love
Love. Love.
in the big city.
Yeah! Don't laugh.
I'm a professional. I don't laugh.
I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
Nicolas Cage,
The tortures of the damned!
Maria Conchita Alonso,
Shoot. Do it or I'll fire you. Do you understand? Not the floor, Alva.
and Jennifer Beals.
You're so pathetic.
Vampire's Kiss.
Strange stuff. I'll never do that again. Jeez.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Lobo, I have a little gift for you, straight from the closet of Bob Wilkins.
Wow. It says, Mr. Lobo, keep up the good work, Bob Wilkins. You know, all these years he chided me and said I was terrible, but he thought I was okay.
He really does think you're okay. He feels that you're carrying on the spirit in which Creature Features was originally intended. You know, we could only carry it on for a certain number of years. Bob did it for 8, I did it for 6, and then the television business began to change. Revolutions started to occur with the coming of cable television. Syndicated movies were no longer available, which has made your job that much harder. So, you have carried on the tradition and the spirit of Creature Features, and therefore we're both indebted to you, and we're very pleased with your success as you continue to host the show. And by the way, I hope you now realize, with this gift in your hand, I was only kidding you a little bit about taking over the show. As soon as the program's over tonight, I'll be packing all my belongings, my equipment and gear, and I'll be leaving, and you will take this chair back.
Really?
Yes, and by the way, it's time for us now to get back to our programs, Cinema Insomnia, and we're going to continue with my wonderful motion picture, Nightmare in Blood. Are we clear? All right, you listen to me, Lobo. You didn't believe a word of that stuff I just told you, did you? I own your show, and I own you. Do you get it? Do you get it? Got it. All right, good.
Tender young thing.
Run, Cindy! Get the hell out of here!
Look out! No!
啊
Yeah, I think so.
Look.
He's turning to ash.
It's just like the thing.
Harris.
Hey, man, this is fantastic. It verifies all of Tobias's theories.
The insidious stronghold of the maddened doctor. What course of action is now indicated? Malachi will hardly be spiritually enriched by your handiwork. Violence was never my particular lifestyle. However,
The slugs went right through him.
behold, he lives yet.
Keep this thing pinned against his belly. Let's see if this goes through him.
Harris? Did not I say before, man will turn to ashes. Comics will prevail.
Man, we've just had one hell of an experience here.
You should have been with us upstairs.
I hear you. Tobias, has anybody seen him?
We haven't.
No. Everything wrapped up?
The final traces of the lab are gone.
The ashes of all three villains have been disposed of. I made all the arrangements. The funeral for Tobias is set for tomorrow. It will be a day of great solemnity.
Just had a look at the auditorium. A great turnout. Getting a little restless, though.
The gallery awaits.
You really better go.
Welcome to the first annual HorrorCon. We're all here because we share a common interest. We love to be entertained by horror, whether in novels, film, comics. We don't mind being frightened because we've always believed that creatures of the supernatural to be mere figments of writers' imagination. These creatures of the undead do exist. They walk freely among us, preying on us. We must now band together with a new goal. A goal that goes beyond the confines of this convention. A goal designed to warn others that these supernatural creatures do exist. Our power of belief is our greatest weapon in this coming battle. Malachi and his henchmen have been destroyed. But there are others like him still out there, waiting. Beware the monster. He walks among us.
Well, that was a wonderful film. Nightmare in Blood, even if I have to say so myself, and I guess I will have to say so myself, Mr. Lobo.
Right.
But I do have one final question for you. Do you have any last words for your legions of fans, both of them? Hey, what goodness, Mega Swindleon, my time-traveling friend. What are you doing here? You have a message for me? This? John Stanley. John Stanley.
Commander Stanley, I am Cosmelina, 6 of 9. You do not know me, but my great-grandmother, Cosmelina, 1 of 1, told us how you bravely defended the spacewomen from the killers of Astron Delta in your Earth year, 1984. It is now the year WD 40.4. We need your bravery and your brain to fight the coming monster apocalypse. Please hurry, Commander Stanley. You're our last hope.
Mr. Lobo, I have to go, but you have to take control of your program once again.
What's happening?
The space women need my brain.
Your brain?
Yes, for the pending monster apocalypse.
Do you need any help?
Oh no, my brain can take care of everything. But you're going to have to stay behind. You're going to have to sit in that chair and do Cinema Insomnia as often as you can for those thousands of fans out there who want to see you each time you come on the air.
I understand, John. Watch horror films. Keep America strong.
Remember, they're not bad movies, just misunderstood.
Wow. Never knew John Stanley had a time machine. Well, I guess Mr. Lobo is once again your horror host. Thank you for watching Cinema Insomnia. Okay, Sam, getting on the chair. Ow, 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 mommy, ow, 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 bad touch.